Attorney General Mark Brnovich, first of all, it's an honor to be with you today on such an important issue as human trafficking and sex trafficking. So I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to be with us today. What is the impact that you hope to make on human trafficking and sex trafficking?
First of all, Chief, let me begin by thanking you for all of your service to our community and for your willingness to come here today to raise awareness about this issue. Because one of the things that I found when I was running for this office after I became Attorney General was that a lot of folks have talked about this issue, but the question always is what are we doing to prevent this or get some help to victims of trafficking? And so it became a priority for this office to not just talk about it, but to actually do something. And so that means working with law enforcement on a local level, a state level, a federal level, working collectively, collaboratively to make sure that we're on the same page when it comes to investigating these crimes and aggressively prosecuting them. And then the second part of it is that I've always believed an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. We as a community need to work together to educate the public, whether it's, hotel operators or other folks in the community, of what they need to look for or signs of possible human trafficking, but also educate our kids and other kids in the community of what they can do to prevent being a victim of human trafficking.
Outstanding. So you mentioned some very important things. Number one is awareness. How do we make people aware? What are some of the actions that your office or law enforcement can do to make people aware of this issue?
Well, it really runs the gambit and the spectrum. One of the things that we've done in the cases that we've successfully prosecuted is we've made sure to get out press releases. We want the traffickers to know. People that are exploiting other human beings should know that if they're doing that in Arizona, we will find them. Those cases will be investigated and they will be prosecuted. So raising awareness of the fact that this is a crime and this is not a victimless crime is the very first step. Secondly, our office is doing everything from, for example, we have brochures, we have pamphlets that we use to get out to the community. Our community relations folks are getting out there and talking to teenagers, talking to kids, letting them know what to look for, what not to look for. We've been creative where we last year, when the championship game was here, we had billboards donated at Times Square, letting people know that they could come to Arizona, but that, as we said, paying for sex can get you flagged. It was a crime, and people need to know that. And so ultimately, it's a multi-pronged approach. We've got to work with the non-government organizations, community organizations, and at the same time, law enforcement needs to aggressively investigate and prosecute these cases, let people we're doing this. And then also, I think it's important to not only educate our kids of what they can do or what people can do to identify signs of trafficking, but at the same time, really emphasize this is not a victimless crime. This is somebody's son or daughter or niece or nephew. And I will tell you, you go to some of these shelters where you'll meet victims of trafficking, sometimes as young as 15, 16 years old, my daughter's age. It will absolutely break your heart when you hear their stories. And you say to yourself, why or how can we tolerate this as a community? This is, as I said, somebody's son or daughter, and we should be doing everything we can to keep our community safe for kids.
It's my understanding that your office has been doing education training for school resource officers. Can you just expand a little bit about that training and how that came about?
It was a priority for our office to take a multi-pronged approach to this problem. And so that meant not only working with local and federal officials on getting the prosecutions done, but it also meant on working on prevention. And one of the best ways to work on prevention is getting to kids early and having that conversation. And I know as a parent, sometimes there's very difficult conversations we have to have, and whether it's about drugs and staying out of drugs or human trafficking issues, sometimes these are tough conversations. And parents need to do it, but at the same time, if we can have someone that's trusted in law enforcement, like a school resource officer or our community relation folks, when they go out and make presentations, provide pamphlets and provide written information, as well as talking to them about it, I think that helps raise awareness of the issue. And an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And so if we can let people know about what to look for, maybe in their classmates, or what to look for in school, maybe we can, prevent some of these folks from falling victim to human trafficking. And I know personally, my daughter was up in Las Vegas for a basketball tournament, and her and one of her friends ran into the grocery store to get something. And they literally told me, we were waiting in the car, didn't think anything of it. They said someone approached them in the aisle and started talking to them about the way they were dressed, and literally started saying about, oh, you'd look great if you had some nicer clothes. What do you think of nicer clothes? And I thought to myself, was that a person that was engaging in maybe recruiting someone for human trafficking? And so I think it's something that we as parents need to be cognizant of. But the good news is, and maybe it was an overreaction by my daughter and her friend's part, but they immediately thought, oh my gosh, that guy's a human trafficker or a recruiter. And so that awareness, though, is good. So that ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Now, on a national level, this is a problem that is across the country. Do you work with other states, or what sets Arizona apart from other states in this attacking this problem?
Well, I think as Arizonans, I think that we have been on the forefront of recognizing that this is a problem. And there's a lot of folks out there like Cindy McCain that are very, very passionate and about educating the public about, the problems associated with human trafficking. But, we're a border state. And we know, even according to State Department statistics, that, there have been people that have been forced into this, that have been smuggled into the United States, that have been forced into the, human trafficking. And so we need to make sure because of our status as a border state, because of the folks here in our community that are aware of this issue, I think that it's allowed us to raise awareness, raise the profile, and then I think that working local law enforcement and with our office, understanding that this is a priority, that it's not just enough to talk about it or to talk about prevention, but to go out there and actually actively prosecute the cases. I think that really puts us on the kind of we're the tip of the sword when it comes to these types of cases.
Sponsored by the Arizona Anti-Trafficking Network and Trust, with thanks to the Office of the Arizona Attorney General.